According to the Trump administration, you are a terrorist. What do you make of that?
The American press is trying to see how it hurts cartel members' feelings when Donald Trump has accurately portrayed them as foreign terrorist enemies of the United States.
Hi, welcome to the Reaction Radar. In today's show, we're going to be looking at CNN having an interview with a drug cartel and about the segment with President Trump trying to reopen Alcatraz. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy at the White House. Stephen, it's good to have you on tonight. So the media is battling the president. They're creating a new hoax. It's also giving the cartels a platform in interviews. Watch.
According to the Trump administration, you are a terrorist. What do you make of that?
Está fea la situación, ¿verdad? Está fea la situación, pero pues todos nos tenemos que comer.
What's your message to Donald Trump?
Mi respeto, él tiene que según él, buscar lo mejor para los suyos. Pero el detalle que ya están los consumidores, ¿no? Si no hubiera consumidores, pues uno le parara.
CNN would actually go wherever it is to interview a drug cartel. Keep that in mind, a drug cartel. But they're not doing any interviews with the citizens of the United States. You know, there have been lots of people that has been unalived by alleged illegal immigrants. Now, the illegality part is what needs to be determined. However, these people were unalived, and CNN has not used with any of these individuals. And you know, it's amazing that they would go to do an interview with a drug cartel, but not with these individuals. You know, it just totally amazes me.
Stephen, your reaction to cartel members getting a platform in the American media?
Yes, the American press is trying to see how it hurts cartel members' feelings when Donald Trump has accurately portrayed them as foreign terrorist enemies of the United States. Hundreds of thousands of Americans, hundreds of thousands, have been killed by the fentanyl that these monsters have trafficked into our country, lacing our drugs with this lethal poison that many teenagers and many young people in this country don't even realize that they're ingesting, and they drop dead, and their parents don't even know what happened. These same cartels, by the way, that wage assassination campaigns against their opponents, that use fear, violence, torture, and intimidation to get their way, that are responsible for all illegal immigration into this country. In other words, everyone who crosses that border is smuggled by a cartel or a cartel associate, and they're responsible for the human trafficking and child trafficking that has plagued the Western Hemisphere. But it's President Trump, of course, who they are now attacking, the press is attacking, for shutting all of that down, for ending child trafficking, ending human trafficking, for cutting the number of drugs dramatically that are entering this country, and of course for achieving the most secure border in American history.
Now, Stephen, in a related topic, when you're talking about how to move the most dangerous criminal aliens out of, the regular prison population or out of the country, the president raised an interesting yet controversial idea today. Watch.
It represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate. We're going to look at it. Right now, it's a big hulk that's sitting there rusting.
Stephen, I get the symbolism, and anyone who's toured Alcatraz, it's a great, tourist destination for your family, a lot of history there. But it was built in '63, it closed down in '63. It was too expensive to operate, and they'd basically have to raise it because the facility is so, it's bad. Raise it and then rebuild it. That's according to people who used to work there. Your reaction to that concern? And again, it's a great tourist stop if you happen to be in San Fran.
Well, sea travel and air travel have improved enormously since 1963 when that facility was shuttered. So I have no concerns about the ability to get supplies, provisions, and resources to and from the island.
No,
Alcatraz is a symbol.
Stephen, the actual facility itself, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. The actual facility itself, the argument is it would have to be raised and completely rebuilt.
Right, but I'm saying when it was closed in 1963, that was the complaint. As for the facility itself, that's easily refurbished. So that's all nonsense. Look, Alcatraz was built at a time when this country was strong and it knew how to take care of villains and monsters. There are people in this country, as President Trump has said, who will do nothing with their lives but rape, maim, and murder. They cannot be rehabilitated. They cannot be saved. They cannot be coached in some better way of living. They are always going to hurt. They are always going to steal. They are always going to attack. And we need a place in this country where we can send people to visually demonstrate their total separation from society.
You know, what is your take on that? I completely agree with this. You know, mainstream media and, you know, a certain political party are saying that everyone, you know, if you're illegal, that you need to have due process. And, you know, my take on this is I agree. If we need to have due process, depending on the type of crime that's going on and what have you, you know, these regular jails are going to be running out of places. I think this would be a great place, you know, or something like this would be ideal. But what is your take on this? Let me know what you think about this process.
The fact that they're not going to live among us and will never live among us. Additionally, this helps to disrupt transnational criminal organizations because it is harder to communicate with, it is harder to apply pressure to individuals who are inside of that prison because of its separation, again, from society. So it's right for our security, it's right for our safety. Let me just make one more point. You talked about this interview with NBC. What this all comes down to is this. President Trump is the one saving the Constitution by fighting to expel from this country the criminals and illegal aliens who have no right to be here. The constitutional crisis was when President Biden and the Democrats mass imported millions of illegal aliens and gangsters into our country. The Constitution commands and requires the president under Article 4, Section 4, to end any invasion of this country and to remove from this country as quickly as possible anyone who is here without the permission of the U.S. government.
Stephen, Donald Trump said he is considering you, and you seem like you're at the top of the list of considerations, to replace Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor. That puts fear in the heart of liberals everywhere, but I don't know who would possibly do your other job as good as you are. But your reaction to this, and that's quite a feather in your cap just to be on that list.
Well, thank you, Laura. But we have a tremendous national security advisor right now. His name is Marco Rubio. I've gotten to know Marco so well. I consider him a close friend. He's doing an extraordinary job. He will be the Kissinger of our time, and I'm just proud to work alongside him in my role as Deputy Chief and Homeland Security Advisor. And by the way, he and I are working very closely together on behalf of President Trump on the project of getting all these illegal alien gangsters out of the country and finding other countries to take them. So this is one example of how I'm working with Marco on a day-to-day basis to execute President Trump's agenda. And let me tell you, President Trump made the right choice with this appointment.
All right, Stephen. He's doing quite a few jobs, Marco Rubio, but we appreciate it very much. Thanks so much.
The link will be in the description. What is your take on this? Would love to hear your comment. If you like this information, please do like, subscribe, drop a comment, and can't wait to see you on the next one.